welcome back to my channel. Welcome. Why do I always do that after I say hello? Why can't I do that first? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this week's car boot haul. It is Sunday the 6th of February. By the time you see this, it'll be a couple of weeks away, I think. And I have quite a nice haul today. Tricky day. Went out without much money because it was chucking down with rain, it was howling a gale. I was like, the car boot is going to be rubbish this morning, I'm not going to need much money. I only took 50 quid with me. And the car boot itself was small, but I did wish I'd had more money with me because there was more stuff I would have bought if I'd had the money. I ended up spending about 40 quid, but I could have bought a couple of job lots if I'd had more money with me. But I'm happy with what I got. So this tiny corner here is my filler bag, but I don't know if I can get to it properly until I do some of the other stuff. So we'll start here. I got 4 comforters for £3. These ones are Poundland, and you might think, why on earth is she buying Poundland comforters? I have had surprising success with Poundland comforters. These ones are Rufus Rabbit, I don't know where he's from, littledog.co.uk, not heard of him, but so there's 2 of those, and then there's 2 Poundland ones, and they've got their tags on. So I thought, bought for 3 quid, I would give those a try. I paid 25p from the same lady as the shoes, so I'll try and do it in what stall I bought for. 25p for this, and this is a Cornish, how do you pronounce Kernewek? I'll put it on the screen. K-E-R-N-E-W-E-K. If you're Cornish, is it Kernwek or Kernewek or something else? Anyway, that's where it's from. Kernewek Pottery. Kernewek. And it is just a little jug. It was 25p, as you can probably see. It won't focus. It was 25p, and it's just a little jug, and I bought it mainly for Mum's coming to lunch today, and I bought it so I could put her gravy in a little jug as a little in-joke, because we've been joking when we've gone out for lunch about the plate arriving swimming in gravy, and I was like, you need to ask for a jug, and she said, they might not do that, and I said, you need to bring your own little jug. Family joke. Anyway, so that's mostly why I bought that, but I'll probably resell it afterwards. Like I said, from that same lady, also these 2 pairs of shoes. Oh. One is hotter, and the others are pavers, and they both have very little wear. In fact, the hotter ones I would say have been worn once, judging by the fact there's no grime on the soles. Yeah, a couple of times each at the most, and they were £2 a pair. So hopefully some nice money to be found there. From a different lady, 2 of the Cath Kidston crush mugs in the cowboy pattern. There are several on eBay and sold for about the £26.99 mark. These are brand new with their label still on, so that was a lovely, lovely pickup. And funny enough, she had put them on the floor in front of her table, like that. And I'd walked past once, and it wasn't until I bent to look at something else and glanced across, and I only just caught just the pic. I was like, that's a Cath Kidston mug in there. So that was very, very lucky to spot those. That was really lucky to find. 2 for a £5. I got another tin of denial. Every time I get one of these receipt tins in... Oh, sorry, it's his face that's causing the problem. It's focusing on his face. Every time I get one of these, you guys buy it before it even hits my eBay. I've sold several of these now to viewers. So it is a tin of denial, and it says receipts for money I used to have. And every time I've got one so far, it's not got as far as eBay. It's sold to one of you guys beforehand. These are for Natalie. She doesn't know yet. She hasn't seen them. When we went out charity shopping a couple of weeks ago, she picked up a series of Grey's Anatomy. I think it was series 3. And I said to her, which other ones have you got? And she said none, but I'm going to start. So when I saw these are seasons 1 to 6, I think, in there. And then I've got season 4 expanded and season 7. So that was a £5 for the lot. So she will hopefully be very pleased with those. From a house clearance guy, I got this. This should sell for about £26 to £27, I hope. This is vintage Tramp perfume and talc. It is sealed in its box, although you can see that the bottle is not quite full, and I'm assuming that that has gradually evaporated over the years, perhaps, because I'm sure you would have got a full bottle in it when you got it. But even so, that's a nice pickup for £1. And from the same guy, for a £5 altogether, I got this vintage knitting bag, which is in a poor way. It's got vintage wool in it. Whether I'll give the wool to Mum or not, I don't know. Mum might want the wool. But it's also got in there a big thing of knitting needles. Oops. Not sure what that was. I think that's a point thing to protect your points your needles. Yeah, vintage knitting needles in there. And then there's all sorts of other sort of bits and bobs. Just look, some vintage lace in there as well. Look at this. This is a house clearance, guys. So look, so at some point somebody started a little bit of knitting and never completed it. That's the story of my life. So there was that. And then also within that £5, firstly, look at this carrier bag. Just the carrier bag alone, I will probably be able to sell on eBay. That's a vintage Tammy Girl carrier bag from the 1980s. In there are vintage Christmas decorations. Two boxes of these, although one decoration is missing from those. They're originally from Boots and they're $1.65 and they are vintage glass baubles. So I was really pleased with those and also really pleased with the carrier bag. I remember Tammy Girl. I remember that, you know, that's the high street logo of my childhood, and another high street logo of my childhood is when the Tesco logo looked like that. So we are going back. I'm very old. And wait, also in there it says CIE, the Contemporary Fragrance Company. So that's vintage perfume, and no idea about that one. I'll wait till you see these. If you are a woman of my age, which would mean that you were a teenager in the early 80s. I was born in 1973, so I was a teenager. For some reason I can't do maths. 1984 I became a teenager, just about, you know, 12, 13, anyway, you know, late 80s. This was, everyone got one of these for Christmas, and furthermore we wanted them. You wanted one of these because we wrote letters in the 80s. You had pen friends and we wrote letters to each other. Look at these. Vintage stationery sets. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the light right so that you guys can see them. Vintage pastel. I'm fairly sure I had this one. This looks so familiar to me. Vintage pastel colour stationery set. Paper and envelopes. I don't know if it has resale value, but what it had for me was real nostalgia value. This is St Michael, so this was Marks and Spencer. 1988. It's got copyright 1988 on it. Look at that. The nostalgia value on those. The light seems to be really bad today. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't complain because it's actually a nice bright day out there, but it's ruining me filming. And yeah, another vintage carrier bag. Whether there's any money in this one, I don't know, but I'm fairly sure I'll be able to sell the Tammy Girl one, which was a funny little bonus. See, I don't know about value on those, but that was £5 for all of that. The Christmas decorations, the paper and pens and the knitting stuff, or not pens, the paper set and the knitting stuff. £5 for all of that. This is my filler bag. I got a IKEA Rosalie storage hanging organiser. It's a little bit grubby on the hanging straps, but that's not the end of the world, you know. That's not, the actual thing itself is fairly clean and nice, and I'm not sure if you could dismantle it and wash the outer bit. I don't think so. I think it's, yeah, it's made as a sealed unit, so I wouldn't be able to do that. But hopefully the fact that it's a tiny bit grubby won't be a huge issue. So that's it. That was in filler bag. Remember, filler bag, sorry, I've got a hair tickling. Filler bag is £3 for however much you put in it. I gave Josh, there were 2 of these, so I kept one and gave one to Josh. These are just necklace displays. I've got a black velvet one, but it's in a bit of a state. So when I saw this, I thought, well, I'll have one. And I know Josh sometimes sells jewellery, so he's got one as well. So that was in filler bag. So that's one item. I also got Josh a little brain's gone. Brain's just shut down halfway through a sentence. Mould, ice cube mould to add to his collection, as you'll have seen in previous ones. I always pick those up if I see them. So there was that and that for Josh, and an extra one of those for me. And then I got a Care Bears mug. This one's 2016, so it's only a reprint, reissue, retro, blah blah blah, retro style rather than actual vintage. Some curtain rings. I do well with curtain rings, so I always pick them up in filler bag. A Tweenies DVD. It's a bit tatty, but I've done quite not DVD, video. I've done quite well with Tweenies videos before. I think I've got one listed at the moment. Oh no, that's Raggy Dolls. A vintage framed tile that would go in your kitchen. And lastly, for my filler bag, 3 spotty stacking mugs. These will sell singly as replacements. People buy them as replacements. Last few bits. I got a massive We've just looked him up. I think we've decided he's Kyle. We couldn't decide if he was Kyle or Stan, but we think he's Kyle. This is South Park plush, and it is a vintage 1998 South Park plush. He's a bit grubby, but he will probably come up quite nicely with a wet wipe over the face. Wet wipes will work wonders on plush. So he's quite large. As you can see, he's bigger than my head, which, as anyone would tell you, is huge. That and this Warhammer book, the two things together were £4. £4. I picked up the Warhammer book because Josh, I don't know if he's announced it, Josh has had some resounding success with Warhammer books recently. This is not one of the massively popular ones, but even so, it will get me a return. And then I picked up this stack of Diana Wynne Jones Chrestomanci books. I would like to read these, although they are aimed at children. I would like to read them. They're supposed to be very, very good. I would have to get them in the right order, though. I don't know which one's first, so I'll have to have a look and see if I can find out what the reading order is. But yeah, they were. She wanted £5 for those, and then she wanted £1 for this Rennie Mackintosh, and it is an actual Mackintosh trinket dish. And so she let me have the lot for £5, so she knocked £1 off, basically. And then finally, this box of stuff here was £3 for all of it. And this is a real... I don't know whether this is going to be worth £1 million or not. This is from... And now, it's Porthmadog in Wales, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Porthmadog. They say Porthcawl, don't they? So do they say Porthmadog? I don't know. Porthmadog. It is a really nice cup and large tea plate saucer kind of affair. I don't know. There's the logo on the back, and it's a kind of a swirly print. So that is going to require some research because I don't know nothing about that. And then this stuff, not quite as much research. This is Ainsley, and Ainsley has waned in popularity in recent years, but I still thought it was worth £3 for the lot. So I have little china bell. Give that to my mother when she comes for lunch, and she can ring it every time she wants service. This is the Pembroke range. I have a bud vase, as Josh would say, a small vase. I have little urn jar pot thing, complete with lid. And then a larger, rounder vase. It's not vase, is it? It might not be vase or vase, but it's not vase. So that was £3 for all of that, including the Porthmadog cup and saucer. And then last thing in that box was this, which is a set of coasters. There is no branding on that box whatsoever, and there's no branding on the coasters, but they are nursery rhymes. But they're not nursery rhymes. I just realised I only glanced at them and I didn't read them. But actually, Simple Simon met a pieman going to the fair. Said Simple Simon to the pieman, "What have you got there?" Said the pieman to Simple Simon, "Pies, you twat." There was an old woman who lives in a shoe. She had so many children, her fell off. I can't read these out. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men said, "Bleep him, he's only an egg." I can't read that one out. That one's far too rude. Round around the garden like a teddy bear. One step, two step, bear poop everywhere. They don't say poop. They say the actual words. I didn't expect that. That's tickled me somewhat. Especially not in the box with the very nice Ainsley pots and vases. Just the two things do not seem to synchronise. On that note, I'm going. Thank you for joining me for today's small haul. I'm very pleased with the things I got today. I can see good profits in almost everything I picked up today. Fill a bag, very small amounts, very small numbers for fill a bag, but even so, pleased with what I found. And I'm so pleased with the silly things like this that are just nostalgia to me. Thank you for joining me. As always, if you've seen anything that tickles your fancy, do let me know. There is an email address in the descriptions box below if you'd like to get hold of me. And I'll be back soon. Take care. Bye for now.